The South Pacific, 1943. Screaming metal tore through the sky, explosions erupted against volcanic rock, sending chunks of earth and jagged stones spinning through superheated air. 8 men huddled deep inside a cave system on a nameless island. Their position was no longer tactical, it was survival. Sergeant Michael Rodriguez pressed his hand against the cave wall. The stone vibrated with each incoming artillery round. He could feel the mountain itself trembling, like something alive and wounded. "We're not getting out of here the way we came in," he said quietly. The squad had been inserted 3 days earlier. Reconnaissance mission targeting Japanese defensive positions. Their objective was simple: gather intelligence about troop movements and fortifications. But everything had gone wrong almost immediately. Their patrol boat was hit 2 miles offshore. Of the original 12-man team, only 8 survived the initial attack. They'd fought their way to this cave system using the volcanic terrain as cover. Now they were trapped. Corporal James Wheeler checked their remaining ammunition. 2 clips per man, 1 canteen of water between them. Their radio was damaged, only intermittent bursts of static suggested it might still function. "How long can we hold out?" asked Private Daniel Chen, the youngest member of the squad. Rodriguez didn't answer immediately. He knew the truth was brutal. They were deep inside enemy-controlled territory. No rescue was coming. Their last communication with headquarters had been garbled, incomplete. The bombardment continued. Each explosion seemed closer than the last. The cave system was their only protection. Carved by volcanic activity centuries earlier, the interconnected tunnels provided minimal shelter, but they also presented significant risks. One direct hit could seal them inside permanently. Lieutenant Mark Harrison studied their makeshift map. Pencil marks showed their estimated location, potential escape routes, known Japanese patrol patterns, but maps meant nothing when the entire landscape was being systematically destroyed. "We need a plan," Harrison said. "We can't just wait to die." Rodriguez nodded. Military training kicked in, pushing back panic. Every moment was about immediate survival. Assess resources, identify options, make decisions. Their equipment was limited. Standard issue M1 Garand rifles, a few fragmentation grenades, medical kit with minimal supplies, 1 compass, fractured radio, survival knife. The bombardment wasn't random. This was a targeted assault designed to eliminate any potential resistance. American forces were pushing through the South Pacific, island by island. The Japanese military understood the strategic importance of denying terrain to the advancing troops. Private Chen checked the damaged radio again, more static. Occasional electronic whispers that might have been a human ice, might have been nothing. "We're going to need to move," Harrison said. "These tunnels won't protect us forever." Rodriguez understood. Cave systems could become tombs. One collapsed entrance meant certain death, but moving meant exposure, risking detection by Japanese patrols. The choice was impossible. Stay and be buried alive. Move and risk immediate confrontation. Corporal Wheeler spoke up. "We've got maybe 6 hours of supplies, maybe less." The math was simple and devastating. Their situation was deteriorating with each passing minute. Outside, the world continued to explode. Harrison pulled out a folded terrain map, spreading it carefully against the rocky tunnel wall. The dim light from their single remaining flashlight cast harsh shadows across the topographical lines. "We're here," he pointed, tracing a jar along a jagged volcanic ridge. "These tunnels connect to a series of underground chambers. If we can navigate them correctly, we might get an alternate exit point." Rodriguez studied the map, his jaws tracing potential routes. The volcanic rock around them was porous, fractured, both a blessing and a curse. Good for creating multiple pathways, dangerous for structural integrity. "Japanese patrols will be sweeping the surface," Rodriguez said. "We can't risk a direct ascent." Corporal Wheeler checked his rifle, rotating the bolt mechanism with practiced precision. "Ammunition's our critical limit. We've got maybe 40 rounds total between us." Private Chen remained silent, but his eyes betrayed his fear. Young, barely 22, this was his first real combat deployment. The constant bombardment outside had stripped away any romantic notions of warfare he might have carried with him from training. Harrison studied Chen carefully. The kid was holding together, but barely. Military training could only suppress natural human terror for so long. "We move in 30 minutes, Harrison declared. "We'll use the tunnel network. Stay low, minimize our acoustic signature." Rodriguez nodded. The plan was sound, but every military plan dissolved the moment actual combat began. They all knew that fundamental truth. The tunnel walls showed signs of previous volcanic activity. Smooth basaltic surfaces, interrupted by rough jutting formations. Centuries of geological pressure had created this complex underground network. Now it would become their potential salvation or their tomb. Corporal Wheeler began redistributing their limited medical supplies. 1 morphine syringe, 3 battlefield dressings, antiseptic wipes rapidly approaching expiration. The kit looked pathetically inadequate compared to the potential injuries they might sustain. "Radio's still dead," Chen reported, tapping the damaged communication device. "But I'm getting intermittent signal fragments. Could mean something still functional." Harrison moved closer, examining the radio. Frequency fluctuating, mostly static. "But there's something underneath, like a coded transmission maybe." Rodriguez felt a familiar tension building. Their situation was deteriorating, and they needed movement. Staying stationary invited death, whether from bombardment, cave collapse, or eventual Japanese patrol discovery. The explosions outside had shifted rhythm, no longer continuous. They were becoming more strategic, targeted. Something had changed in the external combat environment. "They're adjusting fire," Wheeler muttered. "Sounds like they're trying to map our potential escape routes." Harrison pulled out his compass, checking their potential heading. Magnetic interference from the volcanic rock made navigation tricky. One wrong turn could send them deeper into the mountain's stone labyrinth. Rodriguez understood the unspoken calculation happening among them. Each minute of delay reduced their survival probability. But hasty movement invited detection. "We need a reconnaissance element," he said, "someone to scout the initial tunnel section." Chen volunteered immediately, whether from youthful courage or a desire to prove himself. His hand was up before Harrison could finish speaking. "Careful," Harrison warned. "Any sign of patrol, you pull back immediately. No heroics." The next phase of their survival was about to begin. Chen moved cautiously through the tunnel, his boot treads carefully placed to minimize sound. The beam from his tactical flashlight swept methodically across the rocky surface, searching for any indication of recent movement or potential danger. 50 meters ahead, the tunnel branched into 2 separate passages. One sloped gradually downward, its walls glistening with moisture, the other angled upward, showing signs of recent excavation. Fresh rock fragments scattered across the ground. A distant rumble made Chen pause. Not an explosion, something else, something moving. He keyed his radio mic twice, their prearranged signal for potential contact. 3 clicks came back from Harrison's position. Acknowledgement, warning. The sound grew closer. Mechanical, tracked vehicle, most likely, but underground. That made no sense. Chen pressed himself against the tunnel wall, reducing his profile. The sound became a vibration, then a distinct mechanical whirring. A drone emerged from the upper tunnel branch. Not military, not Japanese, something entirely different. Sleek, metallic, about the size of a large dog, but with articulated limbs that allowed it to navigate the uneven terrain with remarkable precision. Its surface was matte black, with sensor arrays that pulsed with a soft blue light. Chen didn't move, didn't breathe. The drone paused, its sensor array swept across the tunnel, infrared and acoustic detection systems probing the environment. Chen knew that any movement would trigger an immediate response. 30 seconds passed, 60, then the drone rotated, smoothly, deliberately, and moved back up the tunnel from which it had emerged. Chen waited another 2 minutes before transmitting a coded burst transmission. Something was very wrong here. Back at their position, Harrison and Rodriguez studied the fragments of information Chen had managed to transmit. "That's not standard reconnaissance equipment," Rodriguez muttered. "No military signatures, No thermal markers consistent with human operation. Harrison's expression was grim. Something else is happening in this mountain. Something beyond our mission parameters. Wheeler checked his weapon again. The tension was palpable. We're not dealing with a standard combat scenario, Harrison continued. Whatever that drone represents, it's not tied to any conventional military protocol. Chen returned moments later, his face pale but composed. Sir, he said to Harrison, I don't think we're alone down here, and I don't think we're fighting who we thought we were fighting. The tunnel network seemed to breathe around them, a living system, a complex organism with its own rules, its own intentions. Rodriguez studied the geological charts they'd been given. Something didn't match. The tunnel configurations didn't align with standard volcanic formations, the angles, the precision. It was almost engineered. We need to keep moving, Harrison said. Ally. Whatever's happening here, we can't stay static. They gathered their minimal equipment, checked weapons, redistributed weight. The mountain seemed to wait, watching, listening. As they moved into the tunnel network, none of them could shake the sensation that they were no longer the hunters. They had become something else. Prey. The darkness consumed them, swallowing their desperate, careful movements into its absolute silence. The next tunnel junction branched 3 ways. Harrison signaled a pause. Hand raised. Acoustic signatures indicated movement. Not mechanical, organic. Something was breathing, not human. Chen's thermal imaging scope swept slowly. Nothing registered initially. Then a faint heat signature, deep in the far left tunnel, shifting, changing shape. Rodriguez whispered, movement, but not like any heat signature I've ever seen. The breathing sound intensified, low, rhythmic, but not mammalian, something alien, calculated. Harrison made a split-second decision. Left tunnel, compact formation, weapons ready. 20 meters in, the tunnel walls changed. No longer rough volcanic stone, smooth, almost machined, surfaces with microscopic geometric patterns barely visible under tactical lights. Then they saw it. A chamber, massive, circular, with architectural elements that defied geological probability, curved surfaces, precise angles, impossible structural integrity, and in the center, a containment unit. Transparent, pulsing with internal energy. Something moved inside. Not a creature, not a machine. Something between organic and technological. Shifting, evolving, watching them. Rodriguez's hand trembled on his weapon. Sir, what are we looking at? Harrison said nothing, just stared. The containment unit's surface rippled, like liquid metal, like conscious thought made visible. A frequency emerged, not sound, not language, something deeper. Communication beyond human perception. Chen felt it first. A pressure in his mind, information flooding, fragments of impossible knowledge, geological time, technological evolution, alien migration patterns.
Unit
Was communicating, selecting, evaluating. Harrison broke the silence. We're not discovering something. We're being examined. The chamber's ambient temperature dropped 10 degrees. Tactical lights flickered. Rodriguez moved forward. 1 step. The containment unit's surface tensed. Potential energy gathering. Then everything stopped. Absolute silence. The team froze. Something was making a choice. About them. About humanity. In that moment, they understood. They were not here by accident. They were part of a process far larger than their mission, far beyond their comprehension. A test, a selection, a judgment. The mountain continued to breathe around them, waiting. Rodriguez's hand twitched involuntarily on his weapon trigger. The containment unit's surface began to oscillate, translucent membranes shifting like liquid thought, probing their collective consciousness. Harrison felt something penetrate his mind. Not an invasion, an assessment. Milliseconds stretched into infinity. Then a pulse, sharp, precise. The chamber's geometric surfaces realigned subtly. Chen realized they were witnessing something transitional, the threshold between observation and interaction. The unit's internal structure began to deconstruct, not disintegrate. Fragments of molecular structure separated, reorganized. Something was being constructed, communicated, transmitted. Rodriguez whispered, "We're not going back, are we?" Harrison didn't respond. His eyes remained fixed on the shifting containment matrix. The mountain's internal architecture seemed to breathe with them, synchronized, connected, no longer just stone and mineral, but a living computational system far beyond human comprehension. A pulse, crystalline, sharp, then silence. The team's tactical equipment went dead simultaneously. Screens blank, radios silent, only their breathing remained. Shane noticed something on his palm. Microscopic geometric patterns, identical to the chamber's walls. Impossible. Alive. They had been marked. Selected. As they turned to exit, none of them spoke. None of them needed to. Something fundamental had changed, not just in this moment. In everything. The mountain watched them leave, waiting for the next encounter, the next evaluation. Humanity would never know how close it had just come to a transformation beyond imagination.